Abraham Lincoln is often described as and most popular president. Republicans and Democrats alike claim Honest Abe as their own. Abraham Lincoln is often described as America's best and most popular president. Republicans and Democrats alike claim Honest controversial in American history. After he was elected, 7 southern states seceded in protest between 1860 and 1861, effectively launching the Civil War. He was the commander-in-chief of the Union Army during a war that took the lives of at least 620,000 Americans. He suspended the civil liberty of habeas corpus and instituted the first national military draft. Indeed, he was so controversial that after winning office, he had to sneak into Washington on a secret train to avoid a suspected assassination plot. And when he left, it was in a coffin, the victim of a Confederate sympathizer's bullet. American politicians like to cast themselves as of the people, but few have come from beginnings as humble as Lincoln's. He was born on the Kentucky frontier in 1809 in a dirt-floor log cabin with one window, one door hung on leather hinges, and a primitive stick-and-mud chimney. He was tall, very tall. One of his good friends remembered him as a long, tall, raw-boned boy, odd and gawky. His clothes rarely fit. One country observer wrote, "Between the shoe and sock and his breeches, made of buckskin, there was bare and naked 6 or more inches of Abe Lincoln's shin bone." But the ragged appearance clothed an intellectually ravenous mind, and discovering books changed Lincoln's life. He read everything he could get his hands on, and in his mid-20s, he taught himself law, receiving his license to practice in 1836. It was an auspicious moment to begin a career as a lawyer, for political freedom was rapidly expanding. Although the privilege of voting was restricted to a very few wealthy white landowning men in the years immediately following the Revolution, by the early decades of the 19th century, these property qualifications were being overturned, allowing many more white men to vote. Social activists, including Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Sojourner Truth, campaigned for female suffrage, laying the groundwork that would eventually result in the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920. It was also the age of both slavery and abolitionism, when approximately 1 in every 10 Americans lived in bondage, and the radical abolitionists argued not just that slavery was immoral, but that second-class citizenship violated the spirit of that most idealistic of American documents, the Declaration of Independence. Yet Lincoln himself was not an unqualified champion of equality. Elected to the Illinois House of Representatives in 1834, he made a mark as a politician who fought against both the extension of slavery and against the full and immediate equality of blacks, advocated by the radical abolitionists. As a congressman from Illinois, he voted to exclude slavery from the territories recently taken from Mexico in the Mexican-American War. And as president, he voted to abolish the slave trade in Washington, D.C. But in 1854, Lincoln, speaking of the slaves, declared, "Free them and make them politically and socially our equals. My own feelings will not admit of this." And in his 1861 inaugural address, he argued that he had no constitutional power to end slavery, nor could he repeal the Fugitive Slave Act. But the Lincoln who in 1858 had said that the peculiar institution of slavery should be put in course of ultimate extinction was the man who so terrified the South. How should we understand Lincoln's position on race? Was he a wartime leader who signed the 1863 Emancipation Proclamation, freeing the slaves in the rebellious Confederacy only to help preserve the Union? Or was he a champion of equality? Can one be against slavery and yet still be a racist? These are important questions to ask, important arguments to have. It's equally important to point out that Lincoln's evolving understanding of power and liberty was stopped by John Wilkes Booth's bullet, and so we may never know, for certain, what Lincoln really thought. What we can say is that Lincoln's actions as president managed to preserve the union of states that we think of as the United States, and also ended slavery in this country for good. It does seem that the cornerstone of Lincoln's political philosophy was his faith in the exceptionalism of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, reads the famous second sentence. However, the notion of American exceptionalism is a loaded one. Today's political right often understands American exceptionalism to mean that America is better than other nations and a model to them. They should work harder to be more like us. To the political left, American exceptionalism often signifies the hubris used to justify American economic and military interventions around the globe. But there's a third way of thinking about American exceptionalism, a way that eludes the love it or leave it version of the right, as well as the wary stance of the left. As Lincoln, certainly one of America's most gifted orators, said during his